Hey, it's Doug from Risebug Performance Train, and today we're going to go over some of my favorite unilateral kettlebell leg exercises, more commonly known as single leg exercises. The reason why I like the kettlebell is the variety they offer. Yes, you can do a lot of these with dumbbells and even barbells, but the kettlebell offers so many options that you can progress for years to come. A few of the options that you can do are double low kettlebells, so I'll just take 2 kettlebells and I can perform a single leg movement like a lunge or a step up using 2 bells in a low position. We can also just use 1 bell. So that offers another core challenge and stability that you have to challenge yourself with. The other ones you can do are single or double rack kettlebells. So I can keep the bells here, I can use 1 or 2 bells, and I can do my single leg exercises. Another one, overhead, offering even more of a challenge, shoulder stability, flexibility. And then we even have the classic goblet position, which is holding it up high, 1 bell with 2 arms. This is the one I usually have people start with, and it's a good introductory kettlebell exercise. So we're gonna get into my favorites right now. Let's get started. With all the bell positions I just gave you, there's a bunch of ways to do a lunge. One of my favorites and the most challenging one I found is to be a double rack kettlebell lunge. So what I'm gonna do is clean 2 kettlebells up into the rack position, and I'm going to perform a step back or a reverse lunge. Now the reason why this is so challenging is 1, the weight's in front. It's going to challenge my core to keep the weight up and stable, but it's also going to affect my breathing because I'm not going to be able to take big breaths because the bells are compressing my diaphragm here. So what I'm going to do is clean the bells up, get into a good rack position, and I'm going to do a reverse lunge. I'm going to step back, drive up, I'm going to switch legs. So I want to try to stay nice and stable. I don't want the bells pulling me forward. Keep nice and high. Another lunge that's very unique with kettlebells, and I found it almost impossible to do with dumbbells or a barbell, is a lunge with a pass. So this all challenges the core and your stability, and it's a great way to just kind of get the bell moving dynamically and to see how well you can stabilize your body. I like to grab with an offsetting grip, the handle on one side, keeping a little bit of space here. I'm going to have this in the low position with the handle going across, as if when I'm going to pass so I can grab easier. If you do it this way, it's a little bit harder to grab. I like to step back on the side that I'm holding the bell. So I'm going to slide back, I'm going to drop down, I'm going to stabilize and pass and come back up. I'm going to step back on the other side. Now what we don't want to do is when we slide back is drop a hip. I want to keep my hip stable. When I pass, I don't want to rise up or drop a hip. So you want to go very slow, take it in parts. Part 1, pause. Part 2, pass. Part 3, come back up. Another one that you can do with a barbell or dumbbell, but I just like the kettlebell for it because of the way the weight sits, because the weight's going straight down right off the handle, is a single leg RDL. This is arguably probably my favorite unilateral exercise, just for ankle stability, isometric strengthening of the calves and quads, and it's also great for balance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the bell, I'm going to pick it up in one hand. I like to have this leg go behind me on the side I'm holding the bell. Some people like to do it this way, but I found that the hips open up and twist, so we're going to do it this way. Slight bend of my knee. I'm going to keep good posture. It's a hip hinge. So I'm going to hinge at the hip, descending. I'm not letting my hips drop. I'm feeling a stretch in my hamstring. I'm going to pause, drive up like a step up, and put my foot down in between. My goal isn't to go to the floor. My goal is a slow and controlled motion, stabilization, and driving up. Okay, now we're getting into some more advanced types of single leg exercises. This one we're going to call the hover lunge or the airborne lunge. Now, if you have a smaller kettlebell, a cast iron one, I recommend that. Just because it's a little smaller, a little more easy to manage. And one of the exercises later on, we're actually going to hold the bell out in front. With the larger bell, it's just a little bit more cumbersome. So I'm going to go with the cast iron instead of this one. But before we do this, an airborne lunge is a lunge where we stand on one leg and have the other leg behind us, and we're going to lunge towards the floor. Now, for most people in the beginning, even if you're strong, it's just kind of getting that patterning down is going to take a little bit of practice. you may want to raise the floor up so that way you're successful. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you an entry-level way with the pad on the floor, which is going to raise the floor up, shorten my distance to the floor, and I'll be able to be successful with the movement. So I'm going to stand on one leg. For this, I just won't have the bell because I'm going to be entry-level. I'm going to have my hands in front for counterbalance, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to lunge by bending this foot up, hands in front. I'm going to drop down, light tap, and then come up. I can put my foot down in between if I'm losing my balance. I'm going to drop down again, light tap, and come up. When I light tap, I'm not resting because then you're going to have to generate all that strength to get back up, and you probably won't get back up. So my tap is about 10% of my weight on there, or imagine it's hot and you just want to come back up. So again, I'm going to drop down, light pause, drive back up. Okay, let's say I got really good at the airborne lunge. I took the padding away, and now I'm going to go to the floor, and I can do those pretty well. You can add a kettlebell. So what I'm going to do is I'll take this kettlebell. I'm going to hold it in the goblet position because it's a good way just to rack the bell. Down here is fine, but you might be hitting the floors. So what we want to do is keep it up high, and I'm just going to do my airborne lunge this way. I'm going to bend my knee. I'm going to drop down, light pause, come back up. I'm going to put my foot down in between just for regain my balance. I'm turning my head around, so I'm losing my balance a little bit. So I'm going to drop down, light touch, and then come back up. All right, the pistol. So you've probably seen these on YouTube and even at kettlebell certifications. When I did my RKC level 2, I had to perform a pistol. But a pistol is hard to get right away. You need to build up strength and ankle mobility. Now again, let's bring the floor up when we're learning the pistol. So I'm going to take a 12-inch box here and we're going to do the pistol. We're going to do it unweighted because we're learning. We're going to have our hands out in front for counterbalance. And what I do is sit into the box, light sit, drive straight up. So I'm going to drop down, light sit, drive straight up. I'm going to put my foot down between, regain my balance, drop down, light sit, come back up. You may notice too that this leg is extended and tight to keep tension. It also keeps my balance. If this leg was loose, I probably wouldn't be able to do the pistol. All right, so you've done well with your elevated pistol, and now it's time to do the real deal. Believe it or not, I found that adding a kettlebell to the pistol itself actually helps you perform a pistol because it can act as a counterbalance and also build up tension to keep you stable. Now, you'll notice that when I grab a kettlebell and I do my pistol, I'm going to extend my arms out to help gain tension and also counterbalance me, and it'll make my pistol a whole lot easier. I'm going to use the cast iron one over this one here just because it's a little smaller and easier to manage when I extend my arms out. So first I'm going to start, bring the bell up to the goblet position, and watch as I descend. I'm going to extend my arms straight out and along with my leg, so this leg's going to extend straight out as well. So I'm going to tighten up, and drive up. And as I'm driving up, I'm pulling the bell back in. So creating all that tension will make you much more successful with the pistol. Give these a shot, and your legs are going to be super strong. See you next time.
Rise above, we're gonna rise above. Think this smart, can't think themselves. Rise above, we're gonna rise above.